The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
And as usual, I'm your regular host, George Agba, and with me here in the studio, our in-house analyst, Silas Ezegu.
You're welcome today.
And Tunde Oguntola. We'll be taking you on the big issue of the day, which is insecurity and federal government certification of Nigeria as safe. Well, the federal government on Monday claimed that Nigeria is now safe and that terrorists, bandits, and their cohorts will never hold Nigerians to ransom again, as it will eliminate all terrorists by December this year. And it was the Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, and the Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, that made the claim yesterday during an interactive session with journalists in Abuja. And during the security conference with the Ministers of Defense, Information and Police Affairs, as well as the Chief of Defense Staff, Aregbesola said the president gave a marching orders to the security chief to move against bandits and terrorists, stressing that they must be smoked out while the security challenges facing the country must end at the end of this year. Addressing the meeting, the Minister of Defense also spoke. But before the Minister of Defense, it was the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, who gave the country's security a clean bill of health, saying that the country is now safe and the worst is over. Well, most Nigerians have taken Lai Mohammed's claim with a pinch of salt. And the idea, Silas, is that the same Lai Mohammed had been quoted in the media as saying that terrorists had been technically defeated. And since that time, about how many years ago, we started witnessing series of gory attacks as never witnessed before in the country. And people now started asking, what was the technical defeat? And what Lai Mohammed was saying, if the terrorists would come out so clearly to undertake out to the extent of even attempting to attack the president's convoy. And then there was a time the federal government still said Boko Haram will be a thing of the past at a particular time. I forgot what the timeline they gave them. And now we're seeing another timeline of December this year. How could we take this serious when past antecedents have shown that federal government should never be taken serious when it has to do with timelines of when the war against terror will end? And then when they tell you that something has been done, just like now, they say the country is now safe. How do Nigerians, how do they begin to accept this again?
Well, no.
It's another, the idea is that it is another normal propaganda by the government.
My approach to it is, in your opening speech, you said Nigerians are taken to a pinch of salt. And you can't blame Nigerians if they take such a declarative, statement from government spokesperson with a pinch of salt. The scale of the insecurity in the country, it was allowed to fester to the point that Nigerians all over the country began to feel unsafe in Nigeria across all the regions. When this government came to power, it's well known that terrorists were admitted to not noticed, especially into grasses. And occasionally they drop a bomb in Abuja to make a pleasant sight. So that but even when we're saying the terrorists have been technically defeated, the thing spread all over to the point that even the Niger state government have been crying that they have taken over so many governments and in charge collecting taxes on the people. Even M5 even went ahead to say a part of his you know, state has been taken over by a terrorist sect where they are in charge. They use the word parallel government. So it is, I think the minister is drawing his optimism from the gains which you can you can agree to over the last few weeks since the introduction of offensive against such non-state actors after they became so daring to even threaten the president, to kidnap the president, and they actually there was attack on the president convoy, when I was traveling home, and then again Abuja, the president's cars was attacked. So, and then the National Assembly now, feeling unsafe too in their comfort zone, now feeling uncomfortable in their comfort zone, now threatening to impeach him if nothing happened. So we now saw how the president now came in and said no mercy on this, terrorists and bandits and whatever name they go by. And then there was the military they took the game to them. So, there have been a lot of. You can even notice that has been the law in the severity of attacks, in the last few weeks. So I think that's what to give the minister the confidence to say that between now and December, that's in 3-4 months time. But I bet to feel pessimistic about it because the war they're fighting is not the normal war. It's an asymmetrical war where the enemy is not clear cut. If if they are camped somewhere and you are having a direct exchange, you can estimate your own firepower and say, okay, I'm going to bomb this place out of existence. But the people you are dealing with are ensconced in society. And like the one in Kaduna, and someone will tell me yesterday how if you cannot pay ransom, they'll carry you off villages, communities, whole persons, whole community to go and do work in their farm. Is that the kind of security threat that the minister is talking that between now and December they will finish? I don't think so. Now, what I can, I know the government is also trying to win the propaganda war against terrorists, but if you make such a blatant statement and give a timeline, you run a risk of having to explain yourself afterwards. And if you're not don't achieve such timeline, the people begin to take government as a government that cannot be trusted on anything. I remember when a former God rest his soul, Bodigan became Minister of the Power. He said within 6 months he saw the issue of power. And then 6 months came and passed, and then in fact they had to take him from that power after 1 2 years to somewhere else before he died. And then I think even the current minister Fashola made similar promises that within a certain time they can do this. And they won't deal with it. So what giving the minister the confidence that between now a war that is asymmetrical, it's not a conventional warfare, and you don't even know where all the targets are. How can you be sure that between now and then you're taking them all out? And these things are in parts. You have the Boko Haram, the Asaru, the ISWAP. You also have bandits who are according to some people who think they know much about them, that they're up to 100,000 in the country. And that people are going to take out between now and then. So if they have that confidence, let's watch and see. But I really don't think that 3 months is enough time to finish it. But if they tell me that between now and then they will significantly reduce their capacity to kill Nigerians, kidnap Nigerians, extort Nigerians, ransom and all that, I can agree to that. But if you say you're going to end it,
Well, Raoul Farekosola, the interior minister, I think he premised what he said on the fact that President Muhammad Buhari gave a marching orders to the security chiefs. He said that they should move against bandits and terrorists and smoke them out and ensure that all the security challenges in the country must end by the end of the year. Of course, we have been hearing marching orders by the president. And now we are seeing this again. How is this one going to be different? Because the ministers were very emphatic when they were saying it, and they say confidently that at the end of the day, it makes eyebrows. Most Nigerians became apprehensive again. I say these people again. Elections are around the corner, and it's like they want to tell us what they think we have not heard before.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, George, for that question. You see, when the President Muhammad Buhari gave that marching order against non-state actors, I said to myself, will this be gazetted again? This is owing to the fact that he has earlier given over 3 or 4 marching orders, which did not see a significant progress or results. But to the extent that the terrorists have the confidence to invade the Kuje prison and operated there for about 2 to 3 hours, and all their people there were mixed away unarmed. You see, when such things happen, I can say maybe perhaps we'll also enjoy from the gains of this, because several people were calling on President Muhammad to tackle this security challenge headlong. Perhaps I just feel his feeling maybe it's not really the right time, as well as his body language amidst the insecurity were not really perfect, because he was not really daring in his statement and in giving this marching order against the terrorists until they came there closer to, in fact, Suleja, the Zumarov, they were attacking and even threatening to kidnap lawyers from their law school in Nigeria. So everywhere became unsafe. In fact, the whole country was thrown in fear. Everybody was even being mindful of entering taxi. Everybody was being mindful of even going about their daily business. You see, when all these things happen, the president has no choice than to issue that marching order. However, going back to the statement of the Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, that no longer will the terrorist group hold Nigeria to ransom again. Well, it's a good one from a minister who is an appointee of the federal government, owing to the fact that yes, he is indeed positive that the war against Boko Haram, insurgents, bandits, farmer settlers clashes will end. Sadly, most Nigerians are now very hungry, owing to the fact that they could not go to their farm. You have to pay bandits, should I call it tithe offering, or you gather money, tax. You have to go there, they don't collect tax
because they're running a parallel government in the country.
For you to successfully doing planting, you pay
The
your
way
tax.
these bandits collect tax, even the federal government does not collect tax.
During harvesting, you also collect tax from them.
Well, thank you very much. Let me just cut you short.
Okay.
I think we'll come back to that. Let's quickly take a short break. You've just raised that salient point. I think by the time we come back, we will actually force that that aspect you've just raised now. And of course, we'll be going.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Welcome back. We are still on the big issue in Leadership Podcast. And of course, the big issue of the day is insecurity and federal government certification of Nigeria as safe. Back to what you were saying, Tunde, yes. You see, according to economic experts, say 99% of the inflation Nigeria suffers now is as a result of insecurity, where most businesses cannot operate successfully for fear of terror attacks. Farmers no more go to farms because they are afraid, because if they go, they either be killed by terrorists or they'll be taxed by terrorists. These all have actually led to the inflation and the high cost of foodstuffs and other items.
Should I shock
And then
you?
we say Nigeria is safe, the worst is over.
Should I shock you?
Shock
I have a
us.
friend who operates a poultry farm, and every week they do order for 100 crates of eggs. He said he has never met up that amount. And that company who do seek for these eggs need to be importing eggs to Nigeria, that they cannot meet up the demands. So for Nigeria to be importing fuel, this goes a long way to tell you that the security threat was really bad and we have a hard hit on it. So the government had no choice than to go all out against the terrorists. You know, when such things like terrorism, banditry, pharmaceutical clashes keep happening, the masses suffer more of talk of the displaced persons who suffers from lack of food, flooding, they are highly exposed. You see, these are things that are not incoherent with the proper standard of living as declared by the UN. You need, everybody deserves to live a better life. During the previous administration, okay, yes, even though Nigerians don't have money, but they don't suffer or beg for food. They have this basic feeding. Everybody can go to his farm, plant corn, but now nobody can go to farm. Look at this school along Kaduna Expressway, Greenfield University. This school is now shut down.
Yes, I remember that there was a time terrorists wrote them, telling them that they were going to come.
Terrorists kidnap students from the school. The family had to pay ransom. I don't know if perhaps the last victim has been released. You see, all these are really bad indices, and that's why I believe the government now have a reassurance, because General Sani Abacha once said that if insecurity lasts more than 24 hours, government has the hand in it. So I believe in that statement that the government has now put itself together, perhaps call all the actors amongst themselves to decide and seek a good way forward for the nation.
Maybe that's why they are saying now.
That's why they can have that confidence to say. But I also traveled Kaduna Abuja Expressway last week. I must say there are security presence in there. In fact, I can sleep on the road, but it's so painful that I cannot use the train because I prefer using the train to Kaduna. So painful that I cannot use the train.
But if the road wait, you know when the thing started? It started with the roads. Well, it started with the roads before they now started attempting to attack the train.
Yeah.
So if that the Nigeria, if the security situation is over and or the worst is over, as claimed by the Minister of Information, then the train should start operations before we even think that the roads are safe. Because
when you say the train, okay, last week during the weekend I did the report. While we are hoping that the train will start operation, do you know that these popular Babambola boys have vandalized the rail tracks while families of kidnapped victims remain with their captors? Most of the gauge as well as the shoulder of these rail lines have been vandalized and carted away. This is another area we need to check that. Even though if the government said, okay, the rail is now reopened, they have to spend billions or millions of naira
working on the tracks.
I have the pictures and
this is the same situation. The Minister of Information is saying that the worst is over.
No, I think, how can it be over? The people who they kidnapped,
They are seeing
none of them are still captivities. If they cannot go to Nigeria to ransom, and I still going to Nigeria to ransom, do you know how many thousands of Nigeria right now are in kidnappers dead? There are, I don't know the last week or now, but there are running into thousands.
Kidnapper, Nigeria PS.
You know, they are in debt, and the government has not freed them. This train one is because it's a train. You know, anything happens to a train or plane, it's big news. That is not an international issue, as case may be. But not so much. So cars get hijacked and taken away, and for weeks somebody has, and even more people that taken from the train and taken from those buses. Nobody hears about it because the buses are commonplace. But trains are a symbol of national development. It's just like trains are also a class, travel kind of means. So, but apart from those, due to nowadays, other Nigerians are still in overstand everywhere. This government is so confident. What is the plan to free those ones? Starting from the plane, because these train ones we know where they are. We don't know, but the government knows where they are. And therefore I will say they can hear them talk. Now, if they have all those ones, first of all, get these ones out, then get other ones out, so that we know that truly, Nigerians will no longer be held captive by those nonsense actors. It's not just saying it. Let us say actionable, evidence that this is happening. My friend, don't I sit on that road because I'm talking.
Today before you, let me say, see, though it's an unconfirmed report, it was a hint, and at the end of the day, it's not verified because one, even as I'm saying it, I am not sure of it, but it was just somebody speculated that it's likely that the government has brought in mercenaries. Because those mercenaries and now go in and clear. And they say these particular mercenaries are very brutal types, the types that show no mercy, that they are already in the country. And now they have been sent to play. And the suspicion is that it is based on that. The ministers now came addressing the threat, knowing very well that what is going to come in the days ahead will be too terrible for those terrorists. And that is what may have given them the confidence. Although that is still an unconfirmed report anyway. We'll just hope that
in any case, was the government supposed to be giving such action plan in 3 months? If I were a terrorist, I would disappear of that place for 3 months. And appear next year. Sometimes you see them going, okay, there's a upsurge of attacks in Caravan and Mother, one part of the country. And then they launch an operation, they photograph them, they put them on camera, on television, they are going to attack those people there, this band are going there, and they show them on TV. And those guys are watching. Then they will see, I say that this people adage is very, very apt here. It's only a tree, that they are going to cut it down. And to run away. Even like goats, I know I see you trying to kill it to run. You know, the tree will stand there and wait for you to cut it down. So, this story, if I tell them 3 months, they will suspect that look, government want to rev up and kill against us. Guys, clear out. Let us hibernate. They can even cross to Niger and those countries that the government says we don't have artificial bandits with them. They can go there and hibernate for 6 months. Eating the spoils of the millions that are taken in ransom until coast is clear. So you're not supposed to even give them a hint. You're not even supposed to give them a hint that we're coming for you.
What Silas is saying is very. You're
not supposed to give them a hint that we're coming for you.
Don't begin to give hints. For instance, now, if the federal government is sure that by the end of December it will be able to contain and end insecurity by getting rid of terrorists, that is even a kind of restricted information that it maintains still lips and alive until the before the horse. Because no terrorists will hear the government say, there are plans on ground to eliminate you within 3 months. They will sit down there.
They'll even use their most
they will sit down. They will say, bro, they will start cautioning themselves.
In fact, they even use their most within government.
Yes.
With the some agencies.
If there's nothing on ground or they don't have something, they don't want to say this. Let's take off. Just like you say. Also, I said 3 months, they'll go relax somewhere. After that, they resurface.
So it's not it happens sometime during the time of the Chibok case. It happened. I read somewhere that some American guys American troops who wanted to intervene in the case. You know, the small clue they gave Nigerian, they just went to TV and announced it and to plan the operation. And I said, no, can't operate like this.
No.
They now put back. Things are supposed to be operational, secrecy. Went and trying to brag on its national television. Things like that.
But let's also commend the Nigerian military.
Yes.
No, of course, no, we give it to them. That one is basic.
No, that one is.
In the past
Those guys are
years,
doing wonders.
since after the Kuje attacks, we saw what happened. The thing now became calm. Now, most times, what we've been seeing and the news we've been hearing is how military eliminating most of these bandits. We've had the past few days, we've hardly had attacks by the terrorists.
So, civilian or even
yes, that is enough to commend our military and other security agencies.
They should keep it
They are
up.
not saying that they are not.
So the effort should be sustained.
That is just
Not just that 3 months, should be beyond that 3 months. And not just soldiers are not meant to stay in the barracks. They should be in the bush there, safeguarding the territorial.
But at the same time, you should understand that soldiers are not meant for internal security.
Yes.
Yes, soldiers are meant to protect the country's
Against any
external aggression.
It's true for national, but when the aggression internally has subsumed, has overcome the police. You now have the national emergency.
Then they say,
If you look around, you see Pakistan. It is soldiers that are taking the relief materials. No, they didn't just wait for the fire service and the civilian police.
Yeah.
It's soldiers that are doing rescue
I
work.
was coming to that side.
So
That is what I'm saying.
they intervene in the local. If the ground is not safe.
INAS's duty is to protect the country's sovereignty by facing
External aggression.
external aggression. That same external aggression is what we are facing internally, because terrorists, their plan is to gain territories. And
very
then
dearly,
rule
they
the
will say,
country,
Buhari, you are the next person we are going to keep.
Thank you
You
very
can
much.
see such
Even
a
flats in Nigeria.
You can see.
And taking over. So you can't just say no, this is not that work. Every security person in Nigeria is involved
As a work,
keeping Nigeria safe.
we'll give it to the military. They have tried, and of course,
And the police, all the other ones, all of them,
Give it to the
all of them
security
are
agencies.
working.
one aspect of security, I would say they will just have to do their best, because they have not done enough. Is the intelligence community, because this war is more of intelligence. Because by the time there's proper intelligence gathering, you don't need to block all the roads in the name of saying you are looking out for bandits. Then you block Nigerians, keep them in a very long traffic. Those terrorists
to danger.
and exposing them again to danger, because those terrorists might come bomb that traffic to show you that you're not doing it. These are all the issues. So I think our intelligence community have to up their game. And in the coming days, we expect to see it, especially now that the government is saying between now and December. And most Nigerians are waiting to see how this will come to pass. And they say this is going to be the security wonder.
For me, I want to go back to the farm.
They are going to see. Well, that is the much we can take for today's edition of The Big Issue. Thank you for keeping tab with us. And of course, our in-house analysts, I'll thank them very much for really addressing the big issue the way it should be addressed. Join us same time tomorrow for another edition of this program.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.